Hey, 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 hey. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Yes, we are in a new library space, a new office library space. I've moved. It's been a couple weeks now. I don't think it's officially been a month, but it's been a couple weeks. And I'm loving the space. I will give you guys an official tour once everything kind of gets set up and the way that I want it and homier. And it's starting to feel that way already. I've got my rug. I put some stuff up on the wall. Most of my books are set up. I've got a couple downstairs because I'm deciding on whether or not to have all of them up here or some of them downstairs. So that's what's going on, but I will make sure that you guys get a full tour soon. But I finally felt like I was set up enough to film a video, and today we are going to do mini reviews of the two books that I finished this week. I've got Score by Kennedy Ryan and then The Burning Side by Sarah Damoff, which I literally finished about 30 minutes ago. Both of these authors have been on the channel before. These were both highly anticipated reads for me this year. And honestly, both met my expectations. So we're gonna go into a little bit more detail about both of them, why I like them, and just my overall thoughts. So we are going to start with The Burning Side by Sarah Damoff because, like I said, I just finished this, so my thoughts are still circulating. I didn't even give it an official rating yet, but I think what I will go with is 4.5 because this is something that I've noticed. But if I take a gap, like a significant gap after around 80% of the book, when I pick it back up, sometimes I feel a little confused. So I stopped reading this at 85% and then I picked up the last 15 last night and finished this morning. And everything did come full circle, yes, but there were also some areas where I was lost. So could that potentially be reader error? Or what? But needless to say, the 4.5 is because of that ending, that sort of unsettled, not really knowing where things were going and the connections, and kind of a little rushed as well too. So this is the author of The Bright Years, which I loved, my debut of the year last year. And if you are wondering, is this better than that? My answer is no, but it was still very, very good. April and Leo are our main characters, but this is a family saga, also like The Bright Years, so we get to hear from a lot of different people. But April and Leo's marriage is kind of what's up for stakes in the book, and we start with a house fire, so literally everything that they have going up in flames, and then also their relationship kind of going up in flames. April and Leo have 2 kids, and they've known each other since they were kids, and even before the fire, there are some things in their marriage that are just not working. So Leo wants a divorce. And through the story, we get to see, because all of this is happening at the beginning, you get to see all of the characters make very active choices to love, and that's something that I think you can appreciate. As always, I'm gonna try not to spoil, but we do get to hear from, different characters, and multi-generational at that. It adds a different layer to the story when they're kind of explaining similar things but in vastly different ways. So we've got April and Leo, and then we also hear from Deb, who's April's mom, and Billy, April's dad, and Deb's husband has Alzheimer's, and they are understanding what that looks like. So yes, we get to hear from April a little bit about what she thinks about her parents' relationships, but when we're hearing about Billy, we're mainly hearing it from Deb and her take on motherhood and her take on understanding her kids, but really choosing to love her husband as well, and to understand what that diagnosis would look like for them in that present moment and moving forward. And we really don't start to hear from Deb until a little a little later, not too late into the book, but it was really nice to hear her side of things. This is one that I would 1000% read again, one that I would 1000% recommend. And it is possible that my rating could go up. If I did a more immersive sort of read, maybe I would have given it that 5 stars instead of 4. But I still really, really enjoyed it. And I've said this before too, that sophomore novels are really, really hard. Luckily, this one passed that test. This is not a question of that. But in terms of topping that first release, that first debut, it's just not doing that for me personally. If you've read either book by Sarah Damoff, let me know in the comments what you thought about it. Do you appreciate her writing style? Because even I've got to give it to her, she is a hell of an author. Like, she's a hell of an author. There are some parts of stories that you read and it's just like, oh, wow, you really use the dictionary and English language and other language to the best of your abilities and then some. So I respect that. Hell of an author. Probably the romance of the year for me. I gotta look and see what else is supposed to come out this year, but this doesn't feel like a stretch to say romance of the year. This is Score by Kennedy Ryan, book 2 in the Hollywood Renaissance series trilogy. So the trilogy itself, you've got Reel first, where they are working on the reel for the movie that they are writing. Score, they're working on the music, and then I guess we'll see what's coming with the third book. But this is Verity and Monk's story. It is a second chance romance, and I love second chance romance. I don't know what it is. I wish I could pinpoint what it is about second chance romance, but I love second chance romance. Okay, so this book starts off strong. Verity and Monk are in college, okay, and he sees her, he wants her, he has her, he want to have her again. Okay, he does have her again. He loses her. Years and years and years and years and years pass. They're working on the score together. Show up in New York, and it's like, oh, and it's great. It's amazing. It's amazing. Now that was the short Spark Notes version of the story. But more into that, okay? So aside from Verity and Monk's love story, which is, again, one of the best that I think I've ever read, the bipolar representation, not only for Verity, but Tessa, was just so, you could really tell that she handled it with so much care, and she just really took the time to develop those characters and show how dimensional that they are as people. And I think if it's not something that you take the time to understand, and a lot of us really don't need to, but if it's something that you stop and think about, most people have one idea of what bipolar is or what mental health in general is, but this kind of just showed one big example, but also 2 small examples of how it's so different for everybody. Duh. Every person is going to be so different and experience things in completely different ways. And I just feel like that was so well done. So not only within the characters, but the relationships that they had with other people as well, explaining how they felt like they needed to behave in work environments and in partnerships, and oh my gosh, I don't even know how I'm forgetting, and in her father as well. So we see just so many examples. So yeah, I just feel like Kennedy really explored that so well, not only through different people, but genders, generations. It was so seamlessly woven together, and I don't even know if that was the intent, but I know that, again, when people think about mental health, they kind of put you in this category. And Verity would always say that, like, I'm not a bipolar person or this or that. Like, she would explain the differences and why wording is important and why a diagnosis is just part of who you are and how to live with that instead of just putting you literally into a category. Really appreciated how as you're reading the book, you're kind of just experiencing that with her, and I think that's exactly what you're supposed to do. Not once during this read was I mad at the characters. That is rare for me to say. That's very, very rare. Usually someone is getting my anger directed at them, but during this, I didn't have any. None. Smut, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. 11 out of 10 on a good day, but it was there. It was there and it was consistent. Yeah, I don't know, I just really felt like it was a perfect read. Y'all know I'm reading Big Girl Blitz right now, and that also feels really darn good. So Black romance is kind of kicking ass this summer, and we got to get some more read to see what's out there. I hope that you enjoyed this quick mini review video of The Burning Side and Score. I enjoyed reading them. I enjoyed talking to you guys about them. And I'm excited for what the summer has to bring for us in the channel. So make sure that you are subscribed, like the video, comment down below your thoughts on either of these books. Even if you haven't read them, are they intriguing to you? Do they sound like something that you would read or you would check out? Links to other places that you can find me, like Instagram, TikTok, my book of the month link, are all in the description down below. And until the next video, read something out of your comfort zone. Bye. I gotta get a thumbnail. I can hear the streets calling.